Hello, my name is Joaquin Jesus Garcia, and today I'll be presenting to you your project of Space Launch System with 3D CAD drawings. So, what is the purpose of this project? The purpose is to draw or model a certain system that is able to be used for space launch, such as a rocket or a space shuttle. Now to do this, we need to learn what a 3D CAD model is. So what is a 3D CAD model? A 3D CAD model, in its essence, is just a small virtual 3D model, like clay modeling or others that you're able to sculpt different items on. However, this one is on a virtual sense, in which we can do it and 3D print it using a 3D printer. So the software that we'll be using today is called Inventor. Inventor is one of the many CAD softwares that exist out there. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to go ahead and open on Inventor, and this should be the first screen that you see. From here, what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new file right here, and this should pop up with this screen. Now this screen, we're going to go ahead and press on the standard and press create. This will take a minute or two depending on your computer. For me it takes a few seconds, but give it a minute to load. Alright, we have gone ahead and loaded into the software. So this should be the screen that you're seeing now. So first things we need to do is we're going to go ahead and make a space rocket. I'm going to show a small picture of what it's going to look like, and from there I'm going to go ahead and model it. So first things first, I'm going to create the tip of the rocket. To do this, I'll go ahead and start a 2D sketch. When it comes to CAD softwares, you most of the time will go ahead and start on a 2D sketch and just extrude it from there, aka make it longer, wider, etc. So let's go ahead and select a plane here. I prefer to use the XZ plane. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and draw a circle. A simple circle, nothing too big. And from here, we're going to go ahead and select how big we want our measurements to be. For this design, I don't want it to be very big, so let's go ahead and do 2 inches. And of course, you can zoom in and out using the scroll wheel. And then you can also move your mouse around like this by clicking on the scroll. So from here, we go ahead and go to this top part, press on 3D model, extrude, and this should allow us to select this. And as you can see already, it set the model to go ahead and extrude by 1 inch, aka make it longer by 1 inch. However, I don't think that's going to be very big, so I'm going to go ahead and say this should be about 6 inches. As you can see, it's gone ahead and extruded it. We press OK here, and there you go. Now, here's the next step that we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and fillet this top part to have that little nozzle shape that we see in the design. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and select the edge of our cylinder, and we're going to go ahead and just make the angle here a little bit longer. So think about a good 1 inch might work. I believe 1 inch should do it. And there you go. So this will be the tip of our rocket here. So what do we do with this? We're gonna go ahead and click save. So this save option right here, or Control S. This will allow us to save our part. We're gonna go ahead and name it tip of rocket. And I already have a file named that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put tip of rocket 1. And there you go, we've already saved it. We've done a lot of progress so far. So the second step here is to make a second piece. For this, we're going to go ahead and click this top little option, the new option, or Control N, and this will open this window for us. This window will go ahead and allow us to make a new project. We're going to make a second piece. This is going to be the base of our rocket. Now, what do we need to do? We need to go ahead and do the same steps we did last time. But this time, since we're making the base of the rocket, it needs to be a little bit bigger. So for this design, since I went for 2 inches from the top, let's go 2.5 inches. So far so good. Great. From here, we're going to press the extrude button one more time. And since the tip's already pretty big, we're going to go ahead and hold back a little bit on the base and make it about 5 inches in this case. So once we have that, we press OK, and here we have our cylinder. From here, we're going to go ahead and make a small hole for our rocket tip to fit into. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and press on this platform here and click on this option right here, or press the 2D sketch option. This will allow us to draw on the top surface of the cylinder. From here, we want to draw another circle here. This one's going to have to be slightly bigger, so 2.005. And from here, we press extrude, and instead of pressing 5, we're going to go ahead and go 1. However, this time, we're going to be cutting into the cylinder. This will allow us to make a hole, that way the tip will be tightly fitted into this base. So it looks like 1 might be a little too short. So let's go ahead and in this case, go for 2. This should give us about a good enough length, that way it won't fall off. So now that we have our little cylinder with a hole, let's go ahead and save on this. We're going to call this base of rocket. As you can see, I also have a file that's called that already. So let's go ahead and call it base of rocket 1. And we have saved this piece. So for this next step, we're going to go ahead and just make the boosters for the rocket. For this, we're going to keep in the base of rocket design, and we're going to do very similar steps that we did to cut this hole. We're going to go ahead and press on this cube, press this little button to show this part of the sketch. From here, we can go ahead and draw on the bottom part, and to do this, we're going to go ahead and make 3 boosts. They're going to be equally distant apart. So let's go ahead and make it an equilateral triangle. To go ahead and make the triangle, we're going to go back to this place right here and click on the rectangle portion in the drop down section. So you should see something like this. We're going to go ahead and click polygon here, and we're going to set this number to 3. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and go to the center of the circle here, press a click, and this will allow us to make ourselves a triangle. Once we have this, we can go ahead and click away from here, close this, and we're going to make smaller circles on these parts, about 1 inch. Once we've got that, we can go ahead and start extruding our piece here. So as you can see, whenever we extrude, we don't quite get the full circle. So what we need to do is we actually need to rotate this. To do this, we need to go ahead and press this button and just click on the pieces of the circle that are missing. Another way to fix this is by using the cut tool or the trim tool to do it automatically. before extruding. If you do make a mistake like this, you can go ahead and just start over by pressing the select profiles. There should be a small X right there, and you can just start again. Oh, there I go again. You can just go ahead and try as many times as you need to get it just right. Once you've gotten that, you can go ahead and just press OK. And now you have yourselves 3 little cylinders on our base of the rocket. So far so good? Great. We're going to go ahead to trim some holes into these boost pads right here. To do this, all we need to do is follow the same steps we had already done for the initial hole. However, this time with each individual rocket. Just make sure that whenever you're doing this, to be very careful. As you can see, this drawing right here is getting in the way of my drawing. So I need to be very careful to make sure that this is centered on the circle. And now we just need to go ahead and cut into this. We're going to go ahead and make this hole about 0.75. Extrude it. This time it's not going to be 2 inches. It's going to be about 0.5 inches. Maybe a little bit more, 0.75. And we're going to go ahead and cut into it. Press OK. And now we just need to repeat the same thing for the 3 cylinders. So one step that you might have seen I did on this drawing that you might also want to follow is, in case that you're unable to quite align it because it overlaps with one of the cylinders, you can go ahead and just press tab, press 0, tab 0, and this will center your drawing in the origin of the plane that you chose. Once you get your boosters done, you can go ahead and save the part one more time. And now we're good to go ahead and press on the assembly tool. We can come back to this screen over here, and we're going to go ahead and press new again. But this time, we're going to go ahead and press on the standard assembly. This will open a different part of the program that will allow us to assemble our 2 pieces that we have made together. So first things we need to do is we need to place both of the pieces. So this will send you to the documents that you have in your computer, and we're going to go ahead and select both of the pieces that we want on our rocket. Place that right here. Perfect. Place the next one, which is base. Awesome. Now that we have done this, we can go ahead and join these 2 together. To do this, all we need to do is press this button, and we need to press what surfaces are going to be joined together. Once we've done that, we'll be done with our project. So for this next part, I'm going to show how to make another shape, which is the shuttle, for this project. We're going to be using the revolve tool for this, so just be aware that this time, instead of extruding, we're going to be revolving our shape. So we're going to go ahead and draw a 2D sketch, this time not in the XZ plane, but in the XY plane. From here, we can just go ahead and draw our design and just eyeball the measurements. We can use the different tools to go ahead and just get an idea of how the curves are going to look like. And finally, just close off this half of the drawing like this. Now you might be wondering to yourself, well, I don't understand. How could this be the shuttle? Well, if we are to draw a line of axis, aka a line of rotation, we can get a better idea of how this could become a line of axis. Once we've done this, we press the resolve, select our profile, and this time, instead of just doing it automatically, we need to select an axis for it to rotate around. In this case, we can either pick this line, which will rotate it like this, or press this line, which will just make the hole disappear. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and from here, just look at our design and just complement it a little bit. This will be a general shape for your shuttle, and you can actually hollow it out by just doing the same steps, just making the measurements smaller, and it would be a very interesting result. You can also use more of the drawing tools to just get a general idea of what else you can make.